Few of us who are autistic around the world actually speaking up. Some of us, well, one of us, lends his voice to those at the bottom. Everybody else, well, they're all about Temple Grandin, who is a psychopath and a sociopath. However, there are plenty of other people who are not. Now, he speaks about how we're being abused by outdated views, mythology, things that have already been dispelled and disproven since those books and theories. That's right, they were theories in the 1980s. And you guys use those as your excuse, as your validation to harm us. He speaks about how, with autism, how we are all invalidated. How, when we are with other autistic people, and you can ask Laura Nelson about how I interact with her son. There are two people outside of his immediate family that he loves very much. That's me and Nova Wilmuth. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, Nova Wilmuth, in my personal estimation, is a badass. Oh man, people wanna throw their garbage down. I'll pick it up. It's a hotel, but I'll help to make it look a little bit nicer. Anyway, shoot, there's a bunch more. Anyway, you guys have this mythology. You believe that, well, of course, that we don't look autistic. Like all of us are supposed to fit a specific look. Like maybe we have some sort of a visual marker that allows you to know that we're autistic. Or you assume that autistic people can't speak. Or you assume because you watched Rain Man that all autistic people are able to do that shit. No, it's a book. It's mythology. That's right, Rain Man was a book before it was a movie. And it was mythology as a book, and it was mythology as a movie. So, other than the stuff with Temple Grandin, who's from Colorado, is the worst example of autistic ever because she's not. She's a psychopath. I don't know any autistic people at all who would even consider doing what it is Temple Grandin does. If you've got a connection with animals and you use that connection with those animals to slaughter them wholesale, you're doing wrong. To have no remorse about it is horrible. Now this guy was also talking about the delicacy problem, where you assume that we're so much more different than you. We're too retarded to understand these things. You know what makes me not social? Because I was a very social people. In the right environment and with the right folks, very social. Even today, very social. We're not all the same. You use mythology. You use wives' tales and bias based on wives' tales and mythologies as an excuse to harm us. And then you tell it it's our fault because we are this. And then you start stating this mythology about us. It's mythology. It's kind of like that child molester, Mark Richmond. His wife apparently has a relative who's autistic. Bonjour.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going all right. You wouldn't happen to have something with like sugar in it to drink, would you?
No, I think we do. I think we just were talking about that. We just finished our sodas. I think we have cranberry juice if you want to sip of that.
Oh, hell yes. You could even pour it into an empty pot container.
I was just going to pour it in this for you. That's okay.
Grassy ass smooth cockhole. See, just because you're nuttier than squirrel turds doesn't mean you're crazy. That was supposed to be funny.
It is funny. I was laughing on the inside, but I didn't want to spoke.
Ah. Alright, I'm not going to complain to y'all YouTube viewers, but he's poured an entire container, not a sip. So he's being much nicer than he claimed he was going to be. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, good sir. Thank you.
Yep, I'm going to head back to my car, but I'll probably see you a little bit later tonight.
Sure, when I go do my runs.
Absolutely. And thank you for fucking looking out for the community. That's best.
You know, thank you, bud. I mean, it's just, that's what I do. That's who I am. I can't help myself.
Yeah, I noticed your dog told me. That makes me sound crazy, don't it?
No, not at all. We all have a little fucking problems here and there, man.
That's right. Do what?
Crazy? I was crazy once. They love you in the white room. Little white room. Ate my brain. It drove me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They left me in the white room. Little white worms ate my brain. It tickled. It drove me crazy. Crazy. That's crazy once.
I love that one. And then there's also the, it's kind of like that song, This Is a Song That Never Ends.
Yes, Lamb Chops play along. Lamb Chops. Yeah. I love these. Reading Rainbow is probably one of my favorites. That and,
Oh my God, yes, LeVar Burton.
and Roger's Neighborhood and
You take a look. It's in a book with Reading Rainbow. And I can go anywhere. Captain Kangaroo.
Hey yo, Captain Jack, bring me back to the rainbow track.
And then there was, well, in Colorado, there was Blinky's Fun Club.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, that was because it was a Colorado exclusive. We had 3 channels. Our TV said we had 13 of them.
I remember those days.
No, I take that back. We had 3.5 channels.
I remember that. It was kind of like that John Dan.
Yeah. All right, well, I think I'm going to get back to my vehicle. Yep, I have no pot and no cigarettes, but I'm going to find some snipes and I'm going to roll me a tobacco.
Yeah, I've been sniping too, and I've had no weeds, which is not okay for me.
So if we find any snipes, I got rolling papers.
Okay. I can go for the days without weed, but it's not good. It's not a good thing.
Oh, I can go forever without weed.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't mean it's pleasant.
Several times with me and a bunch of my friends, and it's not a good thing for me to go without weed for more than 2 weeks.
You really have that much physical pain?
Well, it's not even just about the pain, dude, but about.
Ah, yes. 100%.
I mean, we've tested this. Me and my bosses and other people I've gone through. I know my body really well. I know my medications very well too. And when I want to go have fun, I know my drug intake is very well as well.
So you know most of them medications don't work.
No, that's not what I ever said. I love flowers and dude, I want to.
Oh no, I wasn't talking trash on Cuba.
I've been wanting to help people. I wanted to get. I was trying to do my thing with stuff, and I got it all stolen. But I wanted to help people that were like me and you, and trying to help people come down and get away from the bullshit and have something more natural that's not going to ruin your life.
Yeah, a real camp away from town.
Oh, fuck that! I want to take over.
Yep, that one over on the west end of town is scary looking though, because how much is missing now. I can't hear nothing but the cars.
Home. I want to take over here.
Yep.
I don't care. I know how to. I don't want to go that extreme, but we don't have to. We can all get along. We don't have to.
Yep, and we should. We should get along.
Exactly.
It'd be nice if we were seen as people.
That's why I want to. That's one of my things is I want to prove that. Because I've already proven that I can go back and forth between all these different and be fine.
Different communities,
yeah. Communities, different social groupings, different thought processes, different social gatherings.
Well, you also try whatever it is that most of these groups use.
I like drugs. What can I say?
I'm aware.
Hey, I come from my grandma's roots, man.
Well, you never hid that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you in a bit. That was a little bit of socialization, huh? And yes, it is with somebody who does drugs. And yes, he admits it. And yes, he knew it was being recorded. We gotta look out for each other. Nobody's gonna do it for us. When we're out here, a lot of us are victims ourselves. A lot of us have had horrible things happen to us for trying to turn in our predators because we're broke. And then you send all these predators out here. You drop 60,000 sex offenders out on the streets of California. And you make it illegal for us to defend ourselves against them, because if we defend ourselves against child molesters, we're homeless. You can do whatever you want to a homeless person. It's actually not considered a hate crime by the FBI. But if we beat the fuck out of a Chimo for putting his nasty cock beaters on us, well, all he has to say is that we tried to harm him because he was a fucking sex offender. No. How is that okay? How is it okay to dump on the most victimized people in this country, predators, and then pretend that all of the victims of these predators must be like the predators because they live in the same shitty place? Not okay. Being autistic makes it worse. We already know we're not going to be heard. We already know it. Without you caring. And you're not going to care because you're listening to outdated myths. Outdated mythology. That's right, mythology, not facts. Mythology. My predators had to use mythology as well as repeated criminal acts to deprive me of resources, deprive me of evidence, deprive me of my rights. And of course they use this mythology. This mythology about autistic people. To try to pretend like I'm the problem. You know what? If you got a bunch of autistic people in a room together, we actually get along pretty good in most cases. It's different when you're around a bunch of autistic people because you're allowed to be you. We're neurodivergent. That means we're different. That doesn't mean that we're wrong. And that's what you equate it to. We must be retarded because we're more honest than you. We're more direct than you. There's a lady, a pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl who was recently on my feed complaining about how her boss had given her a compliment, actually, is what it came out to be. But she's dense as fuck. Dense. So, of course, she had an emotional fucking breakdown over a fucking compliment. Yeah, you should probably quit now and never try to get a job again. I mean, if you're going to have that much of a mental breakdown about being complimented, there's something screwed up in your head. Hello. So, when it comes to autistic people, you know, people care about a pretty white girl. Oh, she is offended because somebody gave her a compliment, but she didn't understand what it meant. Such a traumatic experience that she had to cry on the internet about how horrible it was, even after knowing that it's a compliment. Yeah, you should probably quit. Not try to work there or anywhere if you can't take that. So, Basically, they called a meeting or whatever, said, or that she was a new employee, and he wanted to encourage people to go meet her and was saying he hopes basically that she'll be up to par. And he was encouraging people to go introduce themselves. And she was freaking out because she thought he was being rude and name calling, and she didn't know how to take it. Well, that's not his fault. When you look at how many views that got, they even made a news article about it. Holy hell. Are you fucking kidding me? Of all the namby-pamby goddamn bullshit. Meanwhile, it doesn't matter who's right and wrong. It matters what's popular at that moment. One thing I am eternally grateful for right now is the fact that the situation with Natalie Bollinger is still popular. Because it is still popular, people are looking. There might even be somebody who looks to slander from these groups and goes through and finds all the bits and pieces that show that it's slander and says, hey, Sean's been trying to show this for years. Why won't you look at it when he posts it up? Why is it that you guys pretended this shit after the fact? Why is it that you allowed a disabled homeless male to be treated like this? Why is it that you listen to outdated mythology rather than listening to the victim? Why did people listen to the person who was proven to be on drugs? Proven to be a drug addict. Proven to be a drug dealer. In her own words. Well, their own words, because there's actually quite a few. In their own words, they're drug dealers. In their own words, I never was. In their own words, they use those drugs. Natalie's autopsy report proved that she did those drugs. So my question is, how can it be slander if it's true? The words from her about her father, how can it be slander if it's true? She didn't want people to look at or hear her own words. Her own words. She manipulated others to have me on because she was embarrassed. Well, I didn't make her embarrassed. Her family fucking shamed her without finding out what the situation was. I understand why she was afraid to be honest with her family. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't justify her sins. Blackberries. Very good. There's a lot of people who gave me empty promises. Then when they didn't keep their word, they wanted to play on mythology. Mythology. Your assumptions and outdated fairy tales about us. You choose to believe those fairy tales instead of finding out. When you want to know about someone's disability, you can learn a lot from the doctor. But if you want to learn what it's like having that disability, you have to ask someone with that disability. And how's that going to happen if you're busy not listening to the person with that disability? When you're pretending like they're crazy. Most of these people that I recorded who were a part of the situation, the recordings show they were a part of the situation. It also shows that they claimed to understand and later on used mythology. Mythology that was dispelled over 30 years ago. That's right. Over 30 years ago. 30. That's a long fucking time. Why are we still having people victimized in the courts and on the streets over things that were dispelled 30 years ago? Why are we calling people like, I don't know, Sean Schwartz, schizophrenic for saying things that are verified by the professionals in each of these respective fields? If their training, if their very own training says this, and you're going to tell me that I'm schizophrenic, this is their training. You want to pretend I'm making it up like it doesn't really happen. There is a part of their training entirely dedicated to this. Just like they say they're not trained to deal with people who are autistic. No, they absolutely are. They're taught how not to escalate the situation. They need to shut the fuck up. Just like the rest of you. You need to shut the fuck up about your goddamn opinions. Just like with black people. I get to hear you guys saying all your opinions about how black people are all thieves and they're all running around in gangs shooting each other and blah blah fucking blah. Yeah, selling that racist bullshit doesn't make it okay any more than selling this fucking mythology about autistic people is okay. It ain't okay. A lot of people I know and love are dead because of this mythology about autistic people. A lot of people I know. Alright, so this is the second day in a row somebody has done this. It looks like somebody left a bunch of food out here for somebody. It's not the same bag that was there yesterday. But that's a bag of food. It might be that native lady who was walking by earlier. You guys probably didn't see her because I try to point the camera at me because I know if it's pointing at me and pointing up, it's not likely videoing people. Anyway, so this area is getting a little dirty again and I gotta clean it up. I have a lot of problems. You guys assume that I'm that I should be some sort of a computer genius because I'm autistic. So you guys go from one extreme to the other. I'm autistic, so I must be too retarded to talk. And because I can talk, I must not be autistic. Or there's the Rain Man thing. Oh, well, you know, you're supposed to be good with numbers and computers. I'm very good with numbers, but not with computers. And as far as the numbers go, it depends on if I use them and my frame of mind at the time. If I am having a severe mental overload, yeah, my math skills ain't gonna be for shit. That's just the way it is. Now, instead of listening to me, people didn't want to listen to me. They wanted to argue about me. And who knows more about me than me? There's a lot of people who wanted to say, oh, well, I know everything about autistic people. I know more about you than you do because I used to work with autistic people. Well, the fact that you think that way shows that you don't know more than me. I just found 2 decent-sized snipes. Yeah! Blowing in the wind. Is dust in the wind. Alright, I'm done with that. There's a lot of people out here who are on drugs. Your addicts, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, daughters, and sons. Your uncles and cousins, and aunts and nieces and nephews. Yeah. When you don't want them anymore and they end up out on the streets, we're the ones that take care of them. Street people who don't have the ability to take care of themselves. These people that you victimize and you pretend they're all like whoever you dumped off on us. All homeless people must be your no good son who's a fucking junkie. How do you end up a junkie? You wanted to be a pushy father and tell him that he's got to play football, he's got to play football, he's got to play football, he's got to do the family proud, he's got a legacy to uphold, blah, 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 blah. Then what happens? He fucks me up in fucking football practice, not even at a game, not even a cool story, it was just at practice. And of course, he gets put on opiates after multiple surgeries. And then he's addicted to opiates. Well, yay. Now you're going to throw him away because he's addicted to opiates. He's going to go out on the streets and he's going to get heroin. Well done, Daddy. Why couldn't you let your son be your son? You have all these dreams for us, things that you want us to be, things that you expect from us. There's a lot of parents, they got kids that are fucking dumb as a goddamn stump, and they wish they had intelligent kids. But then again, the more intelligent you are, the more likely you are to be ostracized and fucking teased and bullied and picked on. Here's the problem with being an intelligent person. Intelligent people sound crazy to stupid people. Now, there's the stuff about women being diagnosed late. A lot of women have to mask it. No, not a lot of women. All of us have to mask it. But men are more likely to be targeted, so women get to mask it. Girls are allowed to mask it. Most of the women that I know that were diagnosed as adults as autistic are not autistic. They've got brain damage. Brain damage from doing drugs. They're not autistic. They're dishonest. They're liars, and they give us all a bad name. Autism is more common in boys, and brain damage is more common in girls. A lot of that has to do with all the free shit that we give women in this country. Just like birds, we gotta make ourselves look pretty so that we can attract a mate. Some birds, they go out and they collect everything blue and they set it outside of their nesting area. And that's what they do to attract a mate. Some sea creatures will go out and make magnificent patterns underwater or move seashells to try to attract a mate. Or you try to show off your brilliant coloring to try to attract a mate. And people are constantly telling us what to look for as attractiveness goes. So then we've got the Dapper Dans. The ones who want to, fit a certain mold. And then we got the metrosexuals. What's this about? Men who spend more time than women getting dressed up and putting on makeup. Men who are heterosexual. It's about getting laid. It's about putting on a persona that they know will get them laid. There are a lot of women who are highly attracted to homosexual men, or men that they believe to be homosexual, or men that they believe are into other men, at least to some degree, because then, of course, you've got this challenge. You can turn him straight. A lot of men have this thing where they got a fantasy where they can turn a lesbian straight, too. Go ahead and have your fantasies. But realize that just because you have a fantasy doesn't obligate anyone to fulfill your fantasy. Nobody is obligated to have sex with you. When you try to project onto us, autistic people, that you have victimized the living shit out of, and then you try to pretend that it was a stalker thing and like we just wanted sex. No, I never wanted sex. The only time sex entered my mind was when people wanted to push it on me that that's what I needed and that would fix every goddamn thing. Well, lack of sex wasn't my problem. And no, I wasn't getting laid. I wasn't interested in it. Snot swapping is gross. There's a reason that I only snot swapped twice my whole life. I lost my virginity to Brianna Hernandez Cordona. I only did that because a woman named Janine Barrett told me if I had sex with her, she'll probably go away. And she did. The second person I had sex with was Ran Ingersoll. And I did it so she wouldn't harm the kids. I did it so that she wouldn't take out rejection on those children. I didn't want to have sex with either one of them. With Natalie Bollinger, you get to see the things that she claimed were slander were absolutely true. You also get to see how I am treated to this day because I'm not allowed to show that evidence in court or turn it in. I will not be heard by any agency without someone making those calls with me. And it's not difficult to make those calls with me and verify it, especially in person where I can show you the evidence right there as we're talking about it. When you take advantage of my disabilities, when you know I can't do these things electronically, and you promise me that you'll help me to do those things electronically, and I spend all the time jumping through the hoops that you demand that I jump through in order to get that help. And then when the hoops that I've already jumped through multiple times for other people still don't work because you make me do it alone again. Instead of doing the one thing that works, do it with me, not for me. Don't tell me to do it myself. Do it with me. I am an at-risk adult. And don't be a little bitch either. If it happened, it happened. You speak up fucking immediately. Don't be a bitch. So that lady who was going to help me, that she made that call yesterday, and she spoke for me without knowing what the hell was going on, and I never got to speak to the guy or get his number or none of that. And today I got to wait until she's done at work. I thought she was off at 5. It's well after 5. She hasn't gotten back a hold of me. So I'm going to have to wait until Monday to be able to call him even. So that's 3 more days where I'm stuck out here being victimized with no assistance, with a deadline coming up, fucking fast approaching, and nobody is taking it fucking seriously. I needed to talk to the guy. Now, the thing is, if I'd have gotten pushy, because I'd already made several statements while she was on the phone with him, and she only heard half of them, and she was busy giving him misinformation, and it's not that she was giving him misinformation because she was trying to be mean. She was giving him misinformation because she hadn't bothered to find out before making the call. So now I need to speak to him to explain to him how urgent a situation it is. No more of this fucking, it all takes time. No, it doesn't take time. Get off your ass and help me fucking turn it in. I don't mean her, I mean this agency. And I have to wait on her to get the agency's number so I can call him up and call this Martine feller. I tried to listen to my recordings of the situation, but of course with my computer being a pain in the ass, I mean, it's on its last leg. When I have a computer that no longer works, I no longer have the ability to show that fucking evidence. I need help showing the fucking evidence. I don't give a shit about anything else at this point. If I go to you for help and you're going to tell me about your personal problems, if you're not able to help me because of your personal problems, that's not my fault, that's not my choice. However, if those personal problems are the reason that you're not helping me, and the police want to say something otherwise, then yes, if you are a good person, you will speak up. Thank goodness I have a little bit of cranberry juice, but I can't find it currently. I'm pretty thirsty, so I better. It's probably on top of my vehicle. I stop my vehicle after starting it sometimes, not actually turn it off, but I stop it and put on my brake just so I can check on top of my vehicle and make sure there's nothing up there. The biggest issue is that she wants to tell me to trust him and to give me promises about things that she can't promise. She can't promise those things. We got people who are supposed to do community outreach here that don't do community outreach because they don't even know what it is. A lot of people wanted to get angry with me and do horrible things and accuse me of horrible things that they weren't there to see if those things happened or not. They just want to throw in my face the meanest possible things that they could do, the worst possible excuses that they could use to accuse me as if I were guilty of something that they weren't there for, or to automatically take the side of someone who is known to be a fucking terrorist. What Scott DeCosta did, that's fucking terrorism straight up. What his deputies did with him was terrorism straight up. I did break the law. I don't pretend that I didn't. People were allowed to commit criminal acts against me over lies for over a year before Natalie Bollinger was killed, and nobody cared. I'm an at-risk adult. I can't do it myself. None of these agencies I was sent to took it seriously because they were all getting paid money. They don't get paid any more money if the problem is resolved. If they do their job as mandated reporters, then I no longer need to go to their therapy. I no longer need to go to them for help, and that's not beneficial to them. Rather than each one of these people going out of their way to not work with anyone else or find out what anyone else was doing or what was going on, with them unwilling to coordinate, what are we paying them for? Megan Messigatis blames it on the Dual County Sheriff's Department. Dual County Sheriff's Department blames it on Megan Messigatis. Meanwhile, it's both of their fault. And then, of course, when I call them out on it, well, now it's my fault. It must be my fault because they didn't do their jobs. It must have been my choice. If they're able to word it right and twist it right, then of course they'll be able to win. No, Megan Misigatis is looking at time in jail, if not prison. Polly Olson is looking at having her sentence extended by quite a bit for what she did to me. Maybe they'll give her a lighter sentence if she testifies against Acosta. Who knows? Perhaps we should ask Polly Olson how many times I went to her for help. How many times I asked for her to be honest about what she knew. Hello.
It'll probably be either Monday or Tuesday before I really begin to even start hearing about anything.
Yes, ma'am. I see what you're working with over there. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is way too many people to try to advocate for, especially when you're not a trained advocate.
Yeah, and then fucking Patricia is trying to move her and Rudy in, and it's like, ain't happening.
That's what people don't understand. Rudy does look out for all of us out here, but there's also the fact that you can only cram so many people into one area.
Yeah, and
you're going to have problems.
It's not going to be a campsite for the homeless. They will all get kicked out.
Yep. And I tried explaining to them down there that if the rest of them don't start falling in line with what Rudy's doing and cleaning up after themselves, and also I get that most of that trash is from the public and it blows in, but if homeless people don't clean it up, we all get blamed for it.
Yep.
I see all those bags of garbage, and I can guarantee 90% of what's in those was blow-in. It didn't come from homeless people.
No, actually, most of that came from my camp.
Oh, that was the second camp that was back there where they were all piled up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, like, last week on Friday, she was supposed to show up and come get the garbage. Then she decided, well, Thursday. And then she totally forgot all about it. And she said Friday. And then she couldn't get Fuzzy Nick to, to come get
and
the garbage.
then that brought attention to the camp that was right there.
Like
they actually got evicted from their camp right on the trail. They were told that it was all right. But then because all the bags were sitting there for such a long time and nobody picked them up, the cops came and harassed them about it and told them they all got to go. They got a week to leave.
Yeah, the 27th. And garbage is gone now.
Thank goodness.
Picked up this morning. And I got to wait another 2 more weeks before I can get any more garbage picked up.
They're victimizing the shit out of the homeless. This can't be happening.
I know.
When these crimes are committed, I will go in with anybody to turn in the crimes. I will literally go in there for their protection. I have equipment so I can record it so that it is recorded. I have a YouTube channel so I can post it on YouTube if they break the law. And I'm starting to get fairly familiar with the laws here in Oregon and how they differ from some of the other states I've been victimized in. The cops here have committed multiple felonies just against Dean that are recorded on my YouTube channel. It is... No, I don't. It's after 6 o'clock, I'm certain. Oh, you're the lady? They said that there's a lady here who's sober, but they also said that there was you, and they told me I don't want to go to the sober lady because she's useless, she's never been homeless, she doesn't know nothing about it, and if I got to talk to her, I might as well talk to you anyway because you're the one that does something.
Yep.
She gets paid the big dollars, and you deal with the bullshit.
Yep. And the only time I get paid is when I go to the meetings, and then I get a vanilla Visa card, and it's got $75 on it.
So you basically get paid rat shit. You're probably getting paid what people get paid for doing cans. I did cans, and I got a whole bag of cans that I just found. I took them up there. I got $3.40 out of it between the time that I spent picking up the cans and going up there, not counting the gas. I made about $1.13 per hour. That doesn't even pay for the liquids for that amount of time.
My meeting goes from 3 to 5. And I get $75.
But you don't get paid just for the meetings. You're not getting paid for the actual outreach time. I mean, how many hours have you spent today running around already collecting items for people to help them out, getting information to people?
Oh, that's an everyday thing, even on the weekends. But I can't get anything going until like usually Monday or Tuesday because Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are kind of like you know hard to do.
Well, I'm not on Hood River Police Department's good list because they broke the law a few times with me and I still can't get anybody to go in with me. But because of that, like anybody who's victimized, I'll go in with them and turn it in with them so they're safe.
Yeah.
I notice nobody else out here's got the balls to do that, so somebody should.
Well, I've got the balls. I just got more than enough on my plate.
Yep, and that's the thing nationwide. We get told that there's all these services and these people who are supposed to help us when we're victimized, but who's got the time?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna go see Judy before I have to catch the 7:30 bus.
It's Laura, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
So we're out here with a few people who are trying to help how they can. They're getting, the problems with Rudy that came down on him. Now that's resulting in him needing a place. Right now, they're trying to make it so that camp back there isn't overloaded and overwhelmed. They're able to keep it just barely so that it's not seen, but it's going to be seen if it gets much bigger. If you go down and you look at Rudy's camp, his tent is there. It's his tent. You guys want to invent Rudy a new tent? Well, if you invent him a new tent and he replaces the tent he has with a new tent, he still has to by the 27th. But he can't do that because he's in jail. His lady said she was going to take care of his stuff. I hope she does, but come the 26th, if it's not moved, I'm going to go down there and do what I can to try to get it stowed up on the rack on top of my vehicle if need be. But then it's unsightly and people will harass me, especially the police. People will call me in because they don't want to see hobos. I must be a fucking junkie. I must be a rapist. I must be a child molester. Look at how I choose to live. No, I was forced into this repeatedly by people who didn't care and by laws that were ignored and continue to be ignored. It's not a matter of this stuff isn't illegal to do to me. It's absolutely illegal. It's a matter of how do you enforce it when nobody cares? When people would rather look the other way. It's good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. And remember, you are your brother's keeper. No victim left behind.